The Owl House is back and stronger than ever, as this week's mid-season premiere sees Eda face off against Raine, Luz and Amity encounter the dangerous leader of the Plant Coven, and Emperor Belos makes a grand announcement regarding the Day of Unity. As always, we're going to break down this episode for all the details you may have missed. We've been working hard to get you guys quality Owl House and Amphibia content as soon as the new episodes roll out. So if you appreciate these videos, please be sure to throw this video a like and subscribe to the Roundtable with notifications on, because it's the gift that keeps on giving. Let's dive in. Directly following the emotionally charged conclusion of yesterday's lie, in which Luz had a rather messy departure of her mother, young Noseda is recording a vlog with the intentions of persuading Camilla into letting her stay in the demon realm. But alas, all her reasoning falls flat by the world around her. When she tries to speak the praises of its scenery, she's met with the horrifying gaze of Hootie's skeleton as he's leaving out his skin to dry, I guess? Laundry day gotta be wild for the birdworm. I love how Hootie's mere presence is becoming more unhinged as the season progresses. The man's a character development hero, but at this point, I probably wouldn't come within a 50 feet radius of him without some serious protection. When trying to display her proficiency at glyph magic, she mistakenly blinds and angers Basha, who retaliates by spitting some fire, figuratively and literally. Lastly, Luz turns to Principal Bump to speak positively of Hexside and its safe environment, only for the man to naively showcase the school's brand new detention pit, with the student being vanquished to horrors unknown and all. Suffice to say, Camilla would probably have a heart attack watching this. After the theme song, we find Luz, Gus, Willow, and soon Amity conversing outside on the stairs, speculating on Emperor Belos' face and true identity, setting up the rather unsettling conclusion for this episode that we totally called in our episode title predictions video. It's lonely at the top. Just don't think too hard about the 3 or 4 things we were wrong about, though. Teehee, Gus thinks Belos may be self-conscious about his appearance, or too handsome for anyone to hold a conversation with him otherwise. And I suppose if you take Belos' reasoning at face value, the former half is true. Willow speculates it may be more of a Joker situation, Belos reflecting society itself, whereas Amity's suggestion is the one we know to be true, or more accurate than the others. Belos was scarred by wild magic. He more or less told Hunter this back in Hunting Palisman, and to a degree, Eclipse Lake.
Our family is gone because of wild magic. I can't let the same happen to you.
Lumity continues to be one of the most adorable pairings we've seen, as Amity refers to Luz as Batata, sweet potato in English, as she's studying terms found in a cookbook given to her by Gus. Ultimate wingman right there, loaning out literature to Amity. He wants these two to prosper. We love to see it. It's heartwarming to see how much effort Amity puts in to connect with Luz, which I look at as Amity applying her determination and drive as a grade A student to something, or should I say someone, that actually makes her happy. The gang questions how Luz's portal endeavors went, immediately causing her to become flustered, as she doesn't want to recount her mother's intense reaction, or the promise to stay on Earth once this is all over. But luckily, Eda and King arrive to scoop her, although Luz's phone is left behind and recovered by a suspicious Amity. Heading into town so Eda can pick up a special order, Luz is not only informed of the upcoming Coven Day Parade, which Eda views as nothing more than Belos wank, but she also spots a stressed out Kikimora communicating with a mother of her own. Overhearing Kikimora's own predicament of longing to return to family, but having to take care of the obligations present on the Boiling Isles, Luz is quick to project and empathize with the demon. Which kinda goes to show how Luz can be easily clouded by her own judgment and kind heart. Like sure, Kikimora may be going through some hard times of her own, but she still tried to kill Luz and her girlfriend on separate occasions. I guess befriending Lilith, dating Amity, and reaching an understanding of Hunter has caused Luz to see the good in everyone, regardless of the circumstances, but as she'll learn, not everyone is truly worthy of a helping hand. King spills the tea to Luz by revealing that Eda's meeting with a private investigator is actually her obtaining information on Raine, referring to them as an ex, which causes Luz's fangirl heart to go aflutter, eating up the romance and tragedy as if it's her last meal, comparing Raine's sacrifice and relationship with Eda to Hecate and Azura in Book 5 of the Good Witch Azura series, which has me questioning once again the existence of the Good Witch Azura Kikimora books and how they have such spot-on equivalences to our protagonist, alongside existing in both realms. So I'm hoping we get to explore this answer sooner rather than later, but a part of me strongly suspects if they do touch on this, it won't be until one of the 3 specials that conclude the series, though I'd love to be proven wrong and to have this plot thread followed up on in Season 2. Taking a look at Raine's profile, we learn on the right side of the first 2 pages that they mastered all the instruments present in the Bard Coven, instruments we may get to see in action at a later point, while the following pages document the ceremony in which Raine was declared head of the Bard Coven, a recent photograph of them and Eda masquerading as the Bats, and to the upper right, the childhood photograph of Raine, Eda, and a disinterested Lilith that was first spotted back in Season 1's Winged Like Witches, though obscured. I get the feeling that Eda and Raine's blossoming relationship was one of the first big things that created the rift between Eda and Lilith, as Lilith was jealous towards Raine for stealing quality time away from her sister. We also see Raine like spicy food, which is a huge mood, and their favorite movie is Die Hard 2, a clear parody of Die Hard, which John McClane must be going crazy on the violin.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Eda's deeply confused behind Raine's continued work with the Emperor's Coven after the offense of Eda's Requiem, and thus wants to confront her old flame at the Coven Day Parade, giving Luz the brilliant idea of knocking 2 birds with 1 stone by enacting a plan straight from the Good Witch Azura books, staging a kidnapping of both Kikimora and Raine. Kikimora seemingly on board, as she vented her frustrations out to Luz in no time flat. And I mean, after everything Kikimora's been going through, it does make sense that deep down she wants to escape, but as I've stated before, and something that is actually on full display later in this episode, Belos has manipulated everyone who works under him to not just want, but need his validation, need his approval, and to resent all the colleagues around them. It's a cutthroat competition, so even those who want to leave will still find themselves unable to break away, hell-bent on advancing their careers in the Emperor's Coven. Edric has a quick cameo as he dorkily tries to sell fireworks to King, naming it after how many times he's been sent to the Healing Coven. Silly, but it's always good to see the boy pop up. While Willow is in her daily routine of getting swole to crush her enemies, she's visited by Amity for the first time in years, who's hoping to get some advice on Luz and her weird reaction to the topic of visiting Earth. However, Willow requests a favor in exchange for her advice: having her hair braided. Which leads to something bigger for the character, but we'll touch on that later. There's a ton of imagery in Willow's room for the Fire Derby, which is likely setting up the episode Every Sport in a Storm, judging by the promos for these new episodes. Elsewhere, Kikimora debates with herself over Luz's plan, when she's approached by none other than Raine, who appears to be acting like their normal self, but as Kikimora notes, they seem much more calm than before. Raine still retains their social awkwardness and lack of enthusiasm for speaking in front of a crowd. However, they say something rather eerie, that they're just happy to do their part, which is along the same sinister lines of what Kikimora reaffirmed to them at the end of Eda's Requiem.
The Emperor needs you alive and well for the Day of Unity.
He's preparing some big spell for the Day of Unity, but he can't do it without every head witch.
Are quickly provided with an explanation of Raine's current state of mind, as the two are joined by the head of the Plant Coven, Terra Snapdragon, who is as hot as I said she'd be. The Owl House just knows how to serve with the cougar supremacy. Kevin Likey! But before we continue, let's take a moment to celebrate all of you wonderful viewers at home with our first ever fan spotlight, with your submissions from Twitter and Instagram.
Something fun.
It seems after Raine was captured and incapacitated by Kikimora, Terra worked with Emperor Belos to tamper with Raine's memories. As Raine claims, they can't remember anything due to severe migraines, believing that they've been bedridden for the past month. Raine is under the impression that Terra is aiding them with her specialty tea, but it's far too obvious that this drink is playing a vital role in keeping Raine at bay. Not only altering Raine's memories, but Raine's general behavior, sculpting Whispers into an obedient lapdog. After Raine consumes another serving of the tea, they are receptive to Terra's orders of waving to those in attendance for the Coven Day Parade with a smile, despite just talking about their disdain and anxieties over such a thing with Kikimora moments prior. Terra is also suspicious of Kikimora's actions, as it's later revealed that she was sent to watch over Kikimora in a test of loyalty to the Emperor. This makes sense. With Belos' omnipresence, it's very likely he was already keeping tabs on Kiki as she mulled over her family matters, and thus recruited Terra to prevent another Raine incident. Flashing forward to the parade, the Keeper of the Looking Glass Graveyard makes a brief cameo as the Illusion Coven's float is apparently balling on a budget, projecting the floats with a spell rather than the real deal. Don't let film Twitter find out about this. They're gonna tear the old man apart for not using practical effects.
CGI again? It's like the floats aren't even really there.
It isn't before long that Luz and Eda put their plan into action, creating a disturbance that allows them to infiltrate the float Kikimora and Raine are on. While Kikimora poorly plays up the theatrics, Raine almost reprimands Luz in a way that I believe demonstrates Terra's brainwashing. The lack of translucence in their glasses makes Raine appear absent-minded, and although they haven't formally met Luz, I feel like Raine isn't the type to shoot first and ask questions later. Thankfully, Eda nips that right in the bud and grabs her boo. All the while, Amity is keeping tabs on Luz from a distance. Everybody's chasing somebody. Also, I just wanted to say, Hootie gets one of the best lines in the episode hands down.
Kill that monstrosity! Not the first time I've heard that!
Things crank up to an 11 from here on out, with Raine's reaction to reuniting with Eda being the exact opposite of what it was in Eda's Requiem. Whereas before, Raine was nervous but kind towards Eda, viewing her as a constant source of inspiration that they could only dream of living up to, here, Raine stands firm on their platform the entire time without ever changing their demeanor. In their current perspective, they have no memory of going against Darius and Everwolf with Eda, nor the sacrifices both of them were willing to make. They see Eda as a rogue witch who's still causing a ruckus, nearly getting petrified by Belos, but let off with a warning. With Raine's own rebellious nature stripped away, they may still retain compassion for Eda, but that doesn't mean they want anything to do with her. But of course, Eda is not having it, refusing to let Raine walk without a fight, literally. Quickly, the two engage in a battle neither of them want to be in. The purpose of this battle showcasing the combat capabilities of those in the Bard Coven. Raine can orchestrate powerful golden shockwaves that effortlessly mow down Eda's plant magic and summon clouds that strike bolts of lightning at adversaries, though they can be neutralized by targeting the fiddlestick with appropriate timing. Raine is holding back throughout the battle as they still don't want to hurt Eda. They're just prioritizing their duty and allegiance to Belos above all else. Eda's last attempt to get through to Raine involves a recording of Raine's Rhapsody, also known as Eda's Requiem, but it only aggravates Raine further and seems to provoke their headaches due to the conditions of Terra's brainwashing. Raine pushing Eda away with a shockwave in retaliation. As reinforcements arrive, Eda decides to wave the white flag for the time being and flee the scene. Raine wipes away a tear before facing their comrades. Absolutely heartbreaking. I really hope Raine is able to come back to their senses before the Day of Unity, and I'm sure they'll pop up again real soon. Meanwhile, Luz and Kikimora try to make a break for Kikimora's freedom, only to be chased down by Terra Snapdragon, who's piloting a massive Venus flytrap. Despite hiding behind a grandmotherly persona, it's obvious Terra is aware of the plan as she tries to lure Kikimora out with an abundance of deceptive affirmations, dangling the idea of her promotion over her head, as Terra is well aware of Kikimora's lust for power and validation. But as I stated before, everyone under Emperor Belos' wing is at each other's throats due to the competitive nature he's fostered. Not only does Terra not really seem to truly care for Kikimora, but she makes a clear attempt on her life that's interrupted by none other than Amity and her abominations. I also gotta say, I love how they're utilizing abomination magic in different ways, such as the skateboard Amity molds here. It continues to make the lore of the show more unique, as it stands as its own thing. Considering Amity's parents are running a super successful abomination-based tech company, I feel like there's even more ways it could explore the applications of abomination magic, but that's a discussion for another time. Luz and Amity escort Kikimora to her dragon, which apparently has been in Bump's care ever since the events of Hunting Palisman. Surprising absolutely no one, however, Kikimora decides to turn the tables on Luz and waste no time in deciding that she values the prospect of her promotion over returning to her family. I appreciate that they had Amity vocalize the notion that Terra was likely lying to her, as it annoys me when shows fail to address such a thing, but Kiki's a little too, batshit to care. After another short but exciting action scene that features Luz and Amity combining glyphs with abomination magic, holy god, that's so cool! The battle is cut short by Terra. Interestingly enough, it seems like Belos values the safety of the youth, as Terra remarks the Emperor has many plans, but hurting children is not one of them. Which adds up, given how he let Luz, Gus, and Willow walk free. Luz on more than one occasion. Of course, Terra was bluffing about the promotion as this was all a test for Kiki's loyalty, and as the two depart, Terra relays a message to Luz from Belos, that he looks forward to meeting her again. This time, presumably without any mask, and without any aliases. With Luz determined to learn more about Belos in these upcoming episodes, I do wonder if their connection will run surprisingly deep, even if there's no blood relation. I'd find that silly anyhow. This brings us to the episode's rather dark conclusion, that again, not to toot my hooty hoot horn, was something accurately predicted right here on the channel just from the episode title. Let me have this, this is why you should be subscribed. Belos not only reveals information about the Day of Unity to the townsfolk, that the event is exactly 1 month away, and that when the tide is at its lowest during an eclipse, witches everywhere will head to the Titan, and according to Belos, the worthy will then inherit a utopia free of wild magic, aka the likes of Earth. King questions how they could even get rid of wild magic, and postulating such a question has me thinking there may be some serious genocide undertones afoot. Scary stuff for sure. But Belos doesn't stop there. He has to go full-on YouTuber and hook the audience with some emotion. Deciding to no longer hide his face out of fear, he shows the Boiling Isles his true identity. And they eat it up. Though Gus and Willow are rather underwhelmed, as they probably expected something creepier or hotter. But hey, look at Willow's new haircut! Okay, so I speculated this could have been a rebellious phase, but honestly, I prefer this change of appearance coming from her reconciliation with Amity than anything else, especially with the inclusion of the stripe of green hair. Dyed hair is clearly something that's important to Amity, and was used to reflect her own growth. And the dye in Willow's hair conveys, to me at least, a new chapter in her life where she has both her new best friends and her old best friend together at last. This hair represents the closure Amity and Willow needed to move forward. We also get a look at Lil's new outfit, as reconnecting with her roots has led her to embrace the inner child, as she's once again wearing glasses and, honestly, a rather dorky but cute outfit. We love to see it. As the crowd goes wild for the Emperor, our heroes watch from afar, unprepared and unsure of what's to come. The episode comes to an ominous close. As always, I want to know what you guys think. What were your thoughts on this mid-season premiere? What do you foresee happening with Raine, Terra, Kikimora, Belos? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, you can keep the conversation going at Roundtable Vids, and you can find me at UltraVox on both Twitter and Instagram. Follows are appreciated. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like and subscribe to the Roundtable for more great cartoon content. Check out our Patreon, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.